Okay, so I am Robyn Bles. I am the senior pastor with the wonderful people at Wakonda Christian Church. And I don't know about you, I'm pretty biased, but I love, I love our sanctuary. No, it's okay, you guys can get it up. I have some questions for you. What do you all, I'm sure you love your sanctuary as much as I love mine. What do you love about worship? You can just popcorn some things out. Music, okay. It's big. Oh yeah, you just feel small in that space. Yeah, it's nice. Communion, amen. Good disciple. Other things that you love about worship. You love the children. You love seeing people. Prayer, renewal. I'm a pastor, so I love the sermon. No one says that except the pastors. The Bible. Yeah. Okay. But look, so all of those things that you shared and the beauty of this space, like who wouldn't want to share those things? So you obviously go to church. What are some of the ways you know you are welcomed in church? Telegraph that some? Telegraph welcome?
Yeah, in your personal way.
Okay.
The welcome, the smile.
Yep. Yeah, the kind of the body communication. Yep, nonverbals.
Where everybody knows your name.
Everyone knows your name. We can be cheers or the sanctuary. I love it. Other ways you know that you are welcomed in this space. Snacks. Ooh, girl, I love that. Okay, well, I'm going to move on to the next slide because I just did a little walkthrough of my sanctuary this week, and those nonverbal pieces are hugely important. So we have handrails. Our chancel is not handicap accessible. I will just be the first to admit that. But we do have handrails so that our elders can safely access the chancel and get behind the table. We have spaces in our sanctuary particularly set up for wheelchairs. We have multiple spaces. It's not just like this is the wheelchair section, so if you want to sit in your wheelchair and worship, this is where you have to sit. We give folks who might have some assistance needs the opportunity to pick where they want to sit. And we all know that's important. If you come in on Sunday morning and find someone in your pew, you know that's important. We have large print Bibles. We have large print hymnals. We have a big screen in our sanctuary where we throw up everything that is printed in any form up on the screen. But we don't throw up the notation of the hymns. And we even have someone who every single week will go through the PowerPoint, and those words that get stretched out between multiple notes, and you're kind of stretching the syllable or you're emphasizing the different syllables, they will put that information in there in a way that is pleasing to the eye but fully communicates you're going to say this word in 2 notes. Without the notes at all. It's been hugely successful and people have loved it, have been deeply appreciative of it. We also have this handy little section in my sanctuary at the back that those large print Bibles are right there. There are listening devices available. And for our folks, because we have some folks who even the listening devices still don't make up for their full participation. You see that, if you can see that acrylic file folder on the wall, every Sunday I have copies of my sermon manuscript. And yes, I have to do manuscript, otherwise I will just keep talking. My sermon manuscript is up there at the beginning of worship. So that way, my people can follow along in real time and they can fully participate in worship. Because that's what worship is. Something we do together. Preachers sometimes think it's what we do, but no, it's what we do together. Participation is what makes worship. So we've all made a lot of changes in this past year and in these past years. How many of you have gluten-free bread options available in your communion? Okay. My church right now is choosing to continue our prepackaged communion that many of us adopted during COVID. I call it Snack Pack Jesus, through cold and flu season. You know, we have chosen, we're just going to continue this through cold and flu season. We've done it for COVID. No, they don't taste good. Yes, it tastes like Dimetap, but that's not the point, okay? We make changes all the time to accommodate our needs, to accommodate the community needs. We do all of this so that people feel welcome in mind and body and spirit. We do it through our words, we do it through our physical structure, we do it through the ways we conduct worship. And so I want to ask my folks who sat in the big chairs, how comfortable is that? Not really comfortable, is it? I've noticed all three of our ladies, I did, Carol, right? Carol was, you kind of scooted back a little bit.
But I'm too short, but it just wasn't good.
It wasn't comfortable, was it? Sarah, what did you think, Sarah?
I felt weird because like usually I make sure like I feel like the school and then like 5 to 11, it always happens. And I was like swinging my feet and I was like, what do I do?
Exactly. Okay, so one of my favorite things about church, this is like one of my all-time favorite things about church, is it is the last place that all of the generations get to interact together. We don't really have those spaces anymore in our communities. And I'm not here to bemoan whether that's good or that's bad. It just is. But I know my church grandparents, I was closer to them than I was my actual grandparents. I know I love that my daughter gets to interact with all of these other adults who love her, who interact with her, who respect her as a child of God, and she's learning how to love and care and respect for all of these other people and their needs, not out of family obligation, but because that's what community does together. And so, Leanne, you can return to your seat if you'd like, because that's the thing. It's about respecting each other, and all of these wonderful ladies have shared that's not really very comfortable. So when we invite children into our spaces to sit in something that doesn't fit them, we also have to remember they're not supposed to be able to sit still for a whole hour. I know many of us grew up, even I grew up, in the age where you were supposed to sit there. Now, I did have a mom who would bring me like snacks, or, I was really good at making hand turkeys on the back of a bulletin. I had a mom who was a first grade teacher, so she knew this stuff. So I grew up loving church, because even though I had to be in church, I didn't have to be sitting with your back straight, quiet and still the whole time. Because what I have up here, this is not because children are spending so much time on their phones or on technology that their attention spans have shortened. This is what is developmentally appropriate. That a 2-year-old has a 4 to 6 minute attention span. A 4-year-old has 8 to 12. A 6-year-old, which I have at home, has a 12 to 18 minute attention span. 8-year-olds, 16 to 24 minutes. 10-year-olds, 20 to 30 minutes. 12-year-olds, 24 to 36 minutes. So maybe our 12-year-olds can get all the way through the sermon. 14-year-olds, 28 to 42 minutes. And 16-year-olds, 32 to 48 minutes. So none of our youth, how many of you have a 48-minute worship service? Anyone? I know you all would love that. I know my people would love that. But, I talk too much, and we all have other things as part of worship. So 48 minutes, we can't get a whole worship service done in that amount of time. So we're asking children to sit in something that their feet can't touch the floor, or if their feet can touch the floor, their backs can't touch the back of the pew. They're uncomfortable. We're asking them to do something that is developmentally inappropriate. They don't have the skills to do that yet. And you're also hearing words and sentence structures that are way too big and way too advanced for your comprehension. But we still want to share this space with them, right? We want children to love it like we do, but they don't see that beautiful sanctuary. This is what they see. Or, so like you can maybe see, like, here's the top of the pulpit. Like, so you might be able to see like my head while I'm preaching. You certainly can't see the elders at the table. And then if the choir is singing, there are those blue chairs over there. You might see them when they stand up, but maybe not. This is what we are non-verbally communicating to children. So we do a really great job with making sure that our adults are comfortable and are welcome. So why wouldn't we, the people who say all are welcome, do the same for our children and for our teenagers? Now, my church, we do children's worship and wonder, but we do it during Sunday school. We don't do it as a pull-out during worship, which a lot of churches do. And in worship and wonder, they call it big church. Big church is not built for children. It's built for grown-ups. But that does not mean that children cannot participate in the beauty of our liturgy, hear the rhythm and the flow of the congregation reciting the Lord's Prayer, or feel the rumble of the organ on the floor. Exposing them to our hymns, to our order of service, to the ways that we pass the trays and take care of each other, all of that is incredibly important and valuable. And including them at their level tells them that they're part of this, just as they are. So this is our Prayground, right next to the chancel. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going. Okay, so what do you see here? Oh, sorry, next slide. No. Yeah, a log. Okay, grown-ups, if you're hiking, what would you do? Crawl over it. Well, this is what a child sees. A child sees a log or a retaining wall, and it's instantly a balance beam. Or every large stone invites hopscotch. They learn with their bodies first and their energy that they have, the wonder that they hold. We can direct that into worship. We want them to bring their wonder, bring their joy, bring their curiosity about the church and about worship that we cherish. So, first of all, children need to see in order to understand. So despite what everyone has done for years, my parents included, and yes, we're going to need to convince the parents that it's okay to move them closer. We want them in front, and we want them to be able to see. Children, like adults, all learn in different ways, and knowing that children are built to wiggle, God, in fact, made them that way. It means that they need to have space to move and to dance while also giving their grown-ups space to be close at hand, out of the way of their arms. I still have bruises all over my body because sometimes I'm like, child, you were hurting my body just with your movements. So we need to give their grown-ups a comfortable space to be nearby them, but also they can then worship the way they want to, which is usually sitting. Children are tactile. Having soft or quiet toys to manipulate gives their hands and their bodies something to do while they are completely surrounded by the sounds and the love of a community who covenanted to help guide them in the footsteps of Jesus. This is why we bless our babies. And the congregation says, yes, parents, we will come alongside you. Yes, child, we will come alongside you so that you will know the love of God through us. And sometimes we put our children on display. They're gorgeous. It makes sense. But our children are not here to entertain us. They're here to learn and to grow with us, and yes, even teach us. So providing them spaces for their exploration, not our adoration, means their development is respected. It teaches us to be patient with one another, that we are growing and discovering at our own pace. An imaginative play helps them try out the practices that we value in our daily lives. Allowing them to do this in worship means they not only know worship is important, but now some of our children have started reciting the words from Worship and Wonder as they blow out their birthday candles, saying, now the light of God, which is in this place and this time, can be in all places and all times, because liturgy means the work of the people. We do have separate spaces for worship, but our elements are ordinary because we are called to take our practice of worship out into the world with our ordinary tasks and our ordinary items and our ordinary lives. So ordinary bread and juice, toys and cars and crayons are the liturgy of the community. And don't be afraid to include technology. Here, my daughter is taking a picture of worship going on with her iPad because she is curious, she knows this is important, and she wants to remember it. And even if you think they are not paying attention, they will pause during the prayer and bow their heads. They will stop their block tower to dance as the choir sings. They will worship with us, and their joy and their wonder will add to the service. Young children are also not the only ones. I have the whole section on teenagers. Do you want me to stop or keep going? I can stop, or I can just show you really quickly. We also have worship bags for elementary students, because it shows them you have a way to access this space. You are invited to care for this space, teaching them stewardship, to come and show everyone what you can do, and then you get to help us take care of this space. Move to slide 26, please. Because Jesus said, let the little children come to me, and do not stop them. For it is such as these the kingdom of heaven belongs. And I don't know about you, but I want to see this happening in church. I want everyone to feel as excited and as welcomed as my daughter does about communion in worship, and as the children at Wakonda do every single week, and that they get to share that joy with us. I do have handouts for our pew cards that are in the pews to help people without children know how to engage. And I also have a handout of what we put in our welcome packet of what it means to welcome children in our space.